Hi everyone. So I'm going to blog today. I know the last time I blogged I said I was going to blog about the situation after I left my ex-husband and the way that he was towards me and the children, but I'm doing a change of plan. We are going to talk about the big question I get from people I know, family, friends, strangers, when we talk about my marriage is, why did I stay married to him after the affair and before the affair? So I'm going to talk about that real quick. Um, Prior to the affair, I stayed with him because I took my vows very serious. I had been married one time before for 4 months, and that marriage ended because he thought it was okay to lay hands on me. He thought it was okay to abuse me physically, mentally, sexually, verbally, name it, and he thought it was okay. And a lot of people will say, well, why'd you marry somebody that was like that? I dated him for 2 years. He never did that to me while we were dating, but it was as soon as I said I do, it was like he became a whole new different person. So I ended up divorcing him. And then I stayed single for many years after that. And then when I met my ex-husband now, I had told myself that divorce was never going to be an option. I took my vows very seriously, for better or for worse, through sickness and death and all that good stuff. Even though our marriage was bad, I didn't know he was cheating on me. So to me, it was just a bad marriage. And I prayed and went to church and hoped for the best. After the affair, when I did find out about the affair, I wanted to leave, but I needed the okay. I needed reassurance. I needed to know that it was the right thing to do. And I needed that something. And I wanted to be able to tell my kids that I tried everything I could to make this marriage work with their father. And I needed to know. I need reassurance. I needed the okay. I needed the everything. And I wasn't in love with him. Like I told you in a previous couple of blogs, I was never in love with their father. But I also knew that the day I left him, before I actually left him, but when I was in the process of leaving him, I knew that when I did leave, he wasn't going to be a part of their life. And so that was a hesitation that I was having as well. Anyway, so I was going through church and marriage counseling and talking to pastors and just trying to make sure that my decision to leave was the right decision to do. It had been laying on my heart for a long time to leave him after I found out about the affair. So why I stayed was because I wanted to have faith in my marriage, and I wanted to believe that it could work. I wanted to be one of those people that said, yeah, my husband had an affair, but it worked. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case for me. I couldn't forgive him. I couldn't get over the affair. I could not just let it go. I think a lot of it was because he showed me no reason to forgive him. He showed me no remorse. He showed me nothing. So I still felt like a lot of it was, I don't know, there was just nothing. Pastors gave him ideas on how to fix our marriage. They gave him stuff to do. He didn't do any of it. But at the time, I didn't know that he was out there trying to hook up with his now wife. And so that did a burden. But my thing was that I needed reassurance. I needed to know that I tried everything I could in my marriage before I ended it. And so my final okay was, I was attending a church, and the pastor for months was preaching about different stuff. And one Sunday, it's like I felt like every Sunday he was talking to me. But this one Pacific Sunday, I felt like he was really talking to me. He had made comments, and he said that there's somebody out here who is in a relationship and it's broken. It's doomed. There is no fixing the relationship. He was like, I don't know if it's a child-daughter relationship, a mother, a wife, a husband. He didn't know what kind of relationship it was, but he said that one person was giving their all and the other person was giving nothing, and that the relationship needed to end and it needed to go ahead and go separate ways. I knew at that point, and there was so much more. You're looking at an hour plus sermon. There was so much that he had said on that sermon, and I felt like he was talking to me. I went up to the stage at the end because he was like, if you feel like your relationship's broken, come up here. So I went up there, and in the middle of it, he had said, before he started praying for all of us, he had said that he just had this feeling that God was talking to him, and he goes, someone up here is in a marriage that's broken. And I don't know, I started to cry, and he was like, they're in this section, and I was standing in that section where all of us were crying, obviously, but he pointed to my section, and he goes, I know it's somebody right here. He goes, I don't know who it is, but it's somebody right here. It is okay to leave this marriage. You've done everything you can. It's okay to leave. At that point, that was my clarity to go, and I knew that it would be okay for me to go. And so I decided that at that point it was time. And I just needed that last, I was already planning it. Nobody knew. I had my kids asking me when I was going to do it. And I just, I think as a parent, when your children look at you and your children say, Mom, when are you going to divorce Daddy? I don't want to live with Daddy no more. I don't want to be with Daddy no more. That's a big sign that, it's time to go. So after the pastor did that sermon, that was my reassurance that, hey, it's time for me to go. I didn't tell anybody when I was leaving. I made the plans on where I was going to stay at. Originally, me and my ex were going to separate for a month and figure it out and see if we wanted to get back together. I knew, truthfully, didn't tell anybody, but I knew at that point I was done. I was 100% done in my marriage and ready to go. And so I left at that point. But for those that question and say I was stupid for staying, or they don't understand why I stayed, when you take your vows seriously and you have faith in God, even though I know in the Bible it states through adultery you can divorce, but when you don't have that pull and you're needing that clarification that it's okay to divorce your husband even after the affair, you're not going to walk away. I had friends at that point that was married to people that had affairs, and their marriage lasted, and they're still together to date. No, they may not have had children be brought up into that marriage or through the affair, but it's no difference. Whether it's an affair with a child that came out of it or a child that didn't, it's always going to be there. But I think the difference is, had my ex-husband showed remorse and apology and actually tried to be a better man, I may have been able to forgive him. I may have been able to let the situation go, but he didn't. And I just couldn't. And when all he cared about was his stuff, and he was selfish, and he was inconsiderate, at that point I knew that it was done. And so that is why I stayed as long as I did. Was I needed that clarification, and I needed God to tell me that it was okay for me to leave. And once I got that okay, I left. And like I said, when he told me that his items meant more to my kids, or more to him than his children did, that was 100% clarification. Because it's funny that happened 2 days after church. Like the whole church thing happened on Sunday, and on Tuesday, that is when he told me that. So I just kind of feel like God had showed me at that point, like, you're not making the mistake. It is okay to leave. So that is why I finally left. And so y'all, or whoever, can sit there and say I was dumb for staying. I was dumb for not leaving when I found out about the affair. Every situation is different for everybody, and every situation has a different method of how they're going to handle the situation. I wanted my kids to be proud of me. I wanted my kids to know that I knew what the outcome was going to end up being, but I wanted them to know that I tried everything. That way they didn't come to me one day and say, Mama, why didn't you do this? Mama, why didn't you do that? Mama, why didn't you do this? I could actually look at my kids and say, Mama went to counseling. Mama begged and pleaded to try to make that marriage work. Mama went to churches. Mama did this. Mama did that. But yet Daddy did nothing. So once the clarity was in my heart and I knew it was safe to go, that's when I left. So that is why I stayed. I hope all that made sense. Because between me trying to talk to you about it, my kids are running back and forth down the stairs, and they know I'm blogging, so they're trying to stay out of my hair. But I'm also trying to watch what I say because I don't want them to hear all of this right now. But I will pick up on my last vlog the next time I blog. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.